Hope you guys are having a very productive week. Once again, wanted to come back here as I've been touching on the velocity banking over the last 2, 3 weeks or whatnot. I actually have reached out and got in contact with the subject matter expert. This is understanding there are several people that are out there that speak on this, but to actually have the opportunity to watch an individual break down how this system works, to actually hear and read the testimonials of individuals that have applied it, whether it's paying off a small car loan or a large car loan, a mortgage, so on and so forth. But nevertheless, this is the opportunity that we have. I have no other than Miss Velocity Banking herself. Miss Chrissy come to join us today. Thank you for being a part of the family, the Credit Cleanse family today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Indeed, indeed. If you would just give us a little background.
Um, I am in my 50s, early 50s. Um, I think the best background is I came from, I guess, went, did my normal thing, went to high school, went to college, got my degree,
Indeed.
moved away from a small town to a big city, um, made way more money too quick than I needed to make. And for the last, 20 years, made some very financial wrong moves.
Right.
And about, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, probably, so probably right after I turned 45, I should have had way more money in my retirement account
Right.
and savings and everything else. And I just kept searching and searching and saying, I've got to be doing something wrong. When you look, yeah, exactly. I mean, when you look at, kind of what you make and where you should be at certain ages of your life.
Right.
And so that, of course, all those hours led me to Velocity Banking strategy, which I feel any type of class that you can have, they don't teach it. They do not teach, the difference between what interest rates are.
Right.
They just say the lower the interest rate, the better.
Right.
But if you don't know what compounding interest and amortized interest versus simple interest is, you just think that 3% car loan is better than that 29% credit card.
Right.
And it took, like I said, I was almost 46 years old when I finally, seeked out the research and researched it myself. And I should have done it years before that, but I didn't. And that's where I am right now. And I'm out of Colorado right now. Um,
Awesome.
so yeah, so that's where I am. So I just thought, shoot, in my shoes.
Yeah.
And I was searching and searching online and searching. I guess you kind of always search for people that are in the same boat you are.
Right. Right. Like
And yeah, I mean, I saw a ton of people on, Velocity Banking, but they weren't me.
right.
And so I said, and they were teaching great things, but I said, man, I really need this like broken down like kindergarten level
Right.
so I could understand it. Because I mean, I was having tons of questions and I wasn't getting them answered. Not that they weren't not answering me. And I paid for some one-on-one sessions with them, and I was still confused.
Uh-huh.
And I said, you know what? I'm just going to start teaching it my way, and
Yeah.
hopefully it'll help somebody else. And it's like I said, if you watch me, it's very. I have a teaching degree, well,
Yeah.
so it's very not a teaching degree, but that's what I went to school for.
Right.
And so it's kind of like literally like kindergarten, like you're gonna save $6.
Right.
I mean, it's yeah, it's
Indeed.
so anyway, so that's the only reason I brought it out, saying, well, maybe some people are confused like me,
Got it.
and how can I answer their questions when those were the answers I had? I guess
Right.
that's what I could say. Yeah.
And it's effective. Some most people it takes that hands on. and really like, walking them through that process so that they can get it. You can, for this platform, ideally I can run the numbers and show them this, that, and the other, but when you actually get it there and it's your money on the line,
Hmm.
it's a different space or whatnot. It's a different stress, if you will. So yeah,
Right.
absolutely, I definitely get
Yeah.
that.
It's always easier when you're outside the box.
Exactly, exactly.
Right. So yeah. So when I do my one-on-ones, I try to do a lot of research before I do them based on their answers and stuff, and I from them because if I don't,
Right.
I'm maybe giving them advice that I would think I need to do. So so yeah, I try to get in the box with them versus be on the outside because it's way easy to give advice outside,
Right.
but not as much when you're in the box with them
Right.
and
Right there in the
and yeah,
trenches.
so
Yeah.
absolutely in the
Absolutely.
trenches.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Indeed. 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 And I think that what you were saying, as far as the interest, that compound interest, I tell
Mm.
it all the time. Einstein said the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. He who understands it receives it. He who doesn't pays it or whatnot. So that is so vital. And I am glad that you did, take the leap to go out there and start helping individuals, because it was, simply, I think it was a Facebook post that I seen you comment on. And from there, I've been following you, subscribe to your YouTube page as well as part of your Facebook group or whatnot. And again, like I was saying, seeing those testimonials, like when I started doing velocity banking for myself, I didn't even know it
Hmm.
was velocity banking, or I didn't even know it
Right.
was a thing, right? So, and it wasn't, excuse me, I didn't have the formulas, this, that, and the other. I just knew, I was doing it based off of all cash flow. I didn't use a debt tool. It was just, I was
Okay.
making like myself um, more money than, at that time, at that age, that I knew what to do with or whatnot. But I had a general understanding of credit that, I didn't want to pay it off immediately, but, just different strategies to pay it off so that, I
Okay.
that same $6 or whatnot.
Right, yeah. And I'm sure, anybody that watches me, I always say you're saving the money. If you're not paying interest, you're saving it, but you're making money
Right,
because it's not money going out of your budget. So it's actually you're making, whether it's $6, $60, $100,
right,
if it's not going out, it's in.
all the way
So
in,
okay, yeah. Yeah.
all the way in. So, as you were saying, when you decided to, hey, I'm gonna start teaching individuals, was that based far as like the the encouraging individuals or investing or helping others invest into themselves? Was it based simply around, how, I guess you could say, complex, so to speak, the process or the strategy is itself?
And that, yeah, that is why I actually started the Facebook group is I never honestly ever thought, oh, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. I'm going to do one-on-one sessions. I
Right.
talked to my sister and I just, I think even your closest people in your life,
Hmm.
you don't fully open up to them, and then like I
Agree.
said, once I hit in my mid 40s, I'm sure my family members are like, hey, she's going to be retiring here soon. I mean,
Right.
she's been doing there's no retiring here real soon.
Yeah.
And so I had to come clean to myself,
Right.
and I had to come clean to, and so of course my sister was one, and I said, I think I'm gonna start a Facebook. I don't, if no one watches it, she goes, well,
Right.
I'll be a
Right.
member, and so so it was just like one person,
Yeah.
four person people or whatever, and I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I said, I think it was the reason why I actually started the Facebook group was because I had a hard time understanding the interest. And
Right.
I was always taught pay off the credit cards with a loan.
Hmm.
Um, take the loan and pay off all your credit cards because, oh my gosh, I'm on a payment schedule and I'm at, if you don't actually do the actual calculations, you literally paid off more at that loan
Right.
than you did if you just would have paid off the credit cards
Oh,
and used snowball effect or something else.
right.
So I started that just thinking, okay, this is what, I'm just going to, know, do some videos, teach and stuff and see, and actually hope I help somebody that's in the same boat I have been in, or
Hmm.
maybe see themselves getting in that situation, like maybe on the brink of bankruptcy
Right.
or on the brink of, oh my gosh, I'm 15 years into my mortgage, and I just paid all this interest and whatever it is. So, and
Right.
it just kind of, after about 3 or 4 months, people are like, oh, do you help people outside of Facebook? So I started doing a whole bunch of free consults and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
And to be honest with you, Kenneth, and I'm sure anybody that's followed me from the very beginning is I was literally working. I'm a construction manager.
Gotcha. Wow. Wow.
So I am like 7 to 3:30, and then I would come home
Yeah.
at like 5, at 4:30, and I would be literally on free consults till 10 o'clock at night
Wow. Wow.
for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know how long I could keep this up,
Hmm.
I mean, and still help people,
Right.
because that was my passion, was I still wanted to help people. So I
Hmm.
said, Chrissy, I really need to focus on just getting videos out there, posting and stuff like that, and helping more people that way than
Right.
trying to just give a whole bunch of free sessions and stuff. And not saying I didn't help them. I did. It just
Right.
I couldn't help enough people.
Hmm.
I only had
Yeah.
so many minutes in a day, and I was
Right.
working literally and I'm not saying working, I was helping 7 days a week, but I was neglecting my dog. I was
Yeah.
neglecting,
Wow.
family and
Right.
friends and myself.
Gotcha.
And I said, gee, I start really buckling down. And you'll see it on my Facebook if you scroll down, where I said,
Right.
oh my gosh, I can't stop a one-on-one at an hour. It goes 2.5 hours, and then I got to
Right.
reschedule. It just, yeah. So
I get it.
anyway, because,
I
yeah.
definitely get it. You know,
Okay.
and I think the important takeaway there is adding value to people's lives. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
what we're getting ready, in my opinion, although we've seen an extension, a 30-day extension, far as renters in the situation that that's behind on their rent, but for the most part, homeowners at the
Mm-hmm.
end of this month, for those that have been in forbearance that have not, one, they were not credit worthy to go in and refinance their loan
Right.
or whatever the situation is. Like, had they known this information, even now coming in, coming into it, it's still strategies that they could use to, kind of
Okay.
change their situation or whatnot. A few little things that has to take place in that process before you can actually see the full benefit, 5, 7 years from now. But it takes, a willing individual to get out there and figure it out. I ain't gonna say figure it
Right.
out, but find individuals that can help them figure it out. One
Right.
quote I always run with is, the quickest way from point A to point B is a straight line. And if you're at point A and you want to get to point B, find someone that's been to point B and pay them investing in yourself so that you can get to point B faster than the time frame that it took that individual to get to point B.
Absolutely. I mean, and I totally agree with you. People always say, I'm not getting it, I'm not getting it. And I try to reassure them, I didn't get it either. I
Hmm.
watched Denzel, Guys with Ties, Mike. I might watched all these for hours and hours and hours,
Right.
ran my numbers. I mean, I did hundreds of hours of research
Hmm.
before I could even understand it. And sometimes it clicks with people and sometimes
Right.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, geez, I just need to make it like a kindergartner. That's how I needed to learn.
Right.
I needed it to be taught like the person was literally a kindergarten teacher.
Right.
I
And I think it's
Okay.
that element of being outside of your comfort zone, and
Mm-hmm.
ultimately till you
Oh,
get it,
absolutely.
then you're
Right.
comfortable with it, and then you begin to tell and share the strategy with different individuals. That's ultimately
Right.
how I came into it. Someone, like I said, I was doing it before I knew what it was, and then when
Right.
someone broke it down, say, oh, that makes sense. I can understand the logic of it, but let's do the numbers. and then
Right.
start doing that research and looking more into it, and it's like, oh no, this really makes sense.
Well, and I think I've had a pretty diverse age group of clients,
Right.
and um, I would say the younger generation, 21, 22 to like
Hmm.
30, get the concept way quicker.
Gotcha.
Only for the simple reason is I think that anybody, 35 or older, 40,
Right.
we were dead set on get a consolidation loan
Hmm.
to pay off your credit cards for years
Right.
and years and years. Do
Right.
not pay off your house. Just keep refinancing it.
Right.
Just keep refinancing it. Keep refinancing it. When you get ready to pay off your car, get a new car. I mean, so
Right.
we were taught differently,
Right.
and so that's kind of, and that's what's so exciting for me is
Yeah.
because you do have, some people say, oh yeah, I got it on that first video. I'm like, you did?
Yeah.
And so, and then there's, but anyway, so, and
Yeah.
that's kind of cool for me. That's cool
I,
for me because I
yeah.
saved them hundreds of hours
Yes, absolutely.
for
Again,
me.
creating
So
that value, adding that value to them. Indeed.
yes,
Let me
yes.
ask you, in your own words, what is velocity banking?
Um, in it, the easiest way I could tell you is taking any loan that is amortized. So any debt that
Hmm.
is amortized, meaning that you get a payment schedule. So you go get a car, they tell you you're going to pay $300 for 80 months. You
Hmm.
get a house, you're going to pay $1,000 for 360 months. That is a payment schedule. When you take any type of debt like that has a payment schedule and you just transfer that debt
Hmm.
over to simple interest debt that there is no payment schedule, it's whatever balance you have at that time when your APR or your closing date hits.
Gotcha.
So you're literally just transferring from amortized to simple and then taking all your extra cash flow and putting it right to that simple interest debt that you transferred it to, and you pay it off that way.
Gotcha.
Um, that would be my simple, that the easiest simplified, because people get a kind of confused saying, well, why would I take one debt and go into debt into another debt? It's because they're two different debts.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like two different bottled waters. You have mineral water,
it,
you got tap water or
right,
purified water, X, Y, and Z.
right.
And
Yeah, anything that's got a payment schedule, anything, it
yes.
doesn't matter what it is, anything that has a payment schedule and it's a debt or it's an interest, not like rent or anything, but it's an interest debt,
Hmm.
they get all their interest money at the beginning of the
Right.
loan.
At the beginning of the loan. And
Yep.
quite often we use the word installment versus revolving or whatnot,
There you
and
go.
this is
Perfect.
basically what she's breaking down, that being in that installment account, using your revolving account to
Correct.
basically push through that debt at an accelerated speed, and ultimately, as she said, creating that cash flow. As she says, we said earlier, is if it's not going out, it's in, and it's in. So
Right.
yeah, I mean that definitely,
Absolutely.
it definitely makes sense because you can take those funds and do with it as you please. And I would hope, for everyone that's here that's watching, like y'all understand the importance of investing into yourselves and creating opportunities instead of waiting for individuals to give things to you. So
Right.
let me ask you this. Do you see commonly with the clients that you take on, ultimately do they have the same end goal, or do they kind of is it more catered to whatever they're trying to do, if that makes sense?
They all have the same end goal.
Mhm.
We all want to pay less money in interest to the banks.
Right.
Everybody has that same end goal, but
Right.
everybody is individual. So, for example, last week, just for example, I
Hmm.
had a lady that had two rental properties and a primary mortgage,
Hmm.
and then I also had a 30-year-old that's getting ready to buy a home,
Wow.
that is in massive credit card debt.
Yeah. Oof.
So,
DTI.
yeah, completely two different. They're going to use velocity banking,
Hmm.
but it's specifically the strategy is still a specific plan for that individual person.
Got you. Got you.
Okay.
It
Same end
makes
goal though. Same end goal.
makes
Right. Yeah.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
It definitely makes perfect sense. So after seeing the success of the formula, does your clients continue to use this strategy and pass it along, pass that knowledge along, or refer, individuals to you, or is it kind of like a hush hush, I'm keeping this to myself?
Oh, no, actually, I encourage it, and it's funny that you mentioned. Like I said, I think I'm coming up on a year on
Hmm.
Facebook. I think
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty close to a year. I don't have a website. I don't have any of that
Right.
yet. I mean,
Right.
it's in the works. But anyway, it's
Yeah.
funny that you mentioned that. I've had clients that I had back. Like I said, I didn't do any one-on-ones for like till like November of
Hmm.
last year,
Right.
and it's funny because not funny, but now they're teaching their own and they said, "Oh, well, send somebody." I said, "Hold on. If you understand the concept,
Yeah.
don't send them to me. You
Right.
teach them
Right.
at your Thanksgiving dinner, at your Christmas dinner. If your niece or your nephew or somebody's saying, 'Hey, I'm getting ready to buy a house,' then just send them. Don't send them my way.
Yeah.
You know how to do it."
Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
that's going to spread the word way more than my Facebook page
Yeah.
is going to spread the word
Absolutely.
for them. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so it's both, and they always come back. Sometimes they'll come back and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting ready. I got approved for a house. I'm getting ready to buy the house. Now I want to use it for that." So
Yeah.
sometimes they come back, and then sometimes they just refer people. So it's both, and then sometimes they just help their own family and their own friends
Gotcha.
you know and
Yeah.
so yeah, that's kind of cool to. I always say I got 6,000 members, but I always tell my sister I have like 600,000 people, because for every 6,000 people they're talking to like
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
so that
Absolutely.
they help their niece or something. So
Indeed.
anyway.
Indeed. Oh man, that's awesome. So as you were saying, as far as the age limit, you're seeing,
Hmm.
different eras, if you will, of individuals
Hmm.
that are catching on or even inquiring to know more of the velocity banking. On an average, do you? Let me ask you this: do you see more young people than you do, more older people in the process?
um Honestly, I would have to
Mhm.
say um I would say probably between um 35 and 60, 65.
Mhm.
But I noticed for some reason, the last couple months,
Right.
there's a lot more younger people coming to the group. And
Right.
for whatever reason, the only thing I can think of is a younger family member, is bring, but they're in it, like I said, they have a different mindset because they're saying, I want to buy a house and I'm going to use velocity banking, and they don't even have a home yet.
Right.
They
Right.
haven't even bought a car yet that has
Yeah.
6 years left on
They're
it.
ahead of the
So
punch.
they already
Yeah.
have a plan before they bought it. I mean, so that's the thing. That's what I always say. Oh my gosh, if I knew back then what I knew now, oh, my life would be different. The good thing about it is I'm
Mhm.
blessed because now their lives
Right.
are going to be different, which
Right.
is just
Right.
wow.
Planting
Yeah.
those different seeds of knowledge,
Oh yeah.
across the land,
Absolutely.
ultimately across the
Absolutely.
land. So
Just
there's
changes
really,
in generational wealth. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It changes the whole outcome of things because just figure this, my being myself, I'm an investor, real estate investor, and the style of investing that I do is sub twos. Essentially, I find individuals that are in foreclosure, getting ready, or pre foreclosure, and I basically come in and bring that note current. I give them a couple $1,000 to move out of
Hmm.
the property, and then I take the loan and I continue to push the loan. I can tell them, hey, this loan will be paid off in 10 years. And like, what? 10 years? Like, and I owe like 15 years on it, but I
Hmm.
know if I've used the velocity banking strategy,
Hmm.
5 to 7, 8 at the max, it'll be paid off. but even more so, I'll be credit worthy to go in and get the loan to pay out the house, and I can still
Right.
cash out or, put money in my pocket because I would buy it. I put it in a trust. I buy it in a
Okay.
trust, and then I would personally go in and get a mortgage on it to buy it from the trust or whatnot.
Right.
So,
Okay. Hmm.
that strategy
Now, see, I'm
alone,
trying to catch them before they file the bankruptcy, before
yeah.
you could get the property from them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm working to
Hey,
help them
yeah,
before they. I'm
yeah,
just kidding.
absolutely. It's and I commend you for that. You know what I'm saying? Because as I've taught in the class, when you get a foreclosure on your
Hmm.
credit report, at minimum, that's 250 points from the max of 850 that you can get. That's at minimum, it's going to hit it. Not to include all of the late payments that has added up to the point where they
Right.
went in and foreclosed or whatnot. So, absolutely. If they, people that want to hear that, ultimately want to change their position, they tend
Yeah.
to take heed, sit down, and listen to become students of whatever it is that you're putting out to them because they feel they people do business with people that they trust, they love, or they like.
Okay. Right. So,
That's the nature of the
absolutely.
beast. That is the
Right.
nature of
Honesty and
the beast.
transparency. Believe me. I mean, when I started, I sure didn't want to tell my story.
Hmm.
Other than other than saying I didn't understand this when I researched it, so here I am teaching like a kindergarten teacher. But then I
Right.
got to thinking, I think, when I put out there on my face, I filed bankruptcy. I've had to sell my house in a short sell. I
Right.
actually missed the bankruptcy, or not the bankrupt, the foreclosure,
Yeah.
barely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I've done in my past
Right.
that I don't want to ever see anybody do. If there's anything I could do to help them get there, if they
Hmm.
are at that position where then you come in, thank gosh, you're a different savior.
Yeah.
You're a different savior for
I
them.
appreciate
So I
that.
mean, so yeah, it just it's like a whole circle of life. It's just
Indeed,
um,
it is.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
Which one is more rewarding for you? Teaching or preparing a client, or after they've gone through the process and they have reached their goal, which one would you say is more rewarding?
I would have to say for me,
Hmm.
the teaching part is the most reward. Both of them are rewarding, of
Right.
course. The teaching for me is the most rewarding, putting the content out there because I think I could help more people that may not see value in, do I pay for a one-on-one? And I'm
Right.
okay, and that's great. I always say, go to the YouTube channel, search through my Facebook page. I mean, I there's a lot of, content out there that if you just play it over and over and over and run your numbers,
Yeah.
I'm very specific, very, very like I'm even tell you how much they saved, what their
Hmm.
credit score went to, your utilization is going to go up and stuff like that. So, teaching probably is the most rewarding because I know I'm able to reach more people.
Right.
Does that and
That
help
makes
more people?
it makes perfect sense. It reminds me of the book Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. She the one who actually started the whole study of the growth mindset versus the
Okay.
fixed mindset. So yeah, as you were saying,
Okay.
going in and doing more research and more research and more research, just continuing to feed the brain, grow the
Right.
brain ultimately to get in there, and then being able as the teacher to see, where this individual started and when they
Right.
did get it and where they're at now or whatnot. I definitely I share that same
Right.
sentiment with you,
Right.
but
Now
yeah.
I don't want to downgrade the one-on-ones. I mean,
Mhm.
those are very rewarding when they send me, there's a lot of stuff on the Facebook that you guys don't see, but when they send me screenshots of like, look, I own my car.
Yeah.
My mortgage company now wants me to refinance, and I know why they're coming back because they want
Yeah.
me to refinance,
Absolutely.
and so that's actually rewarding. But
Yeah.
then, you sit there and say, okay, I hope they told 5 people that helped their lives. But then when I sit there and say, gosh, I got to get, for me, I need to get even more content out there. I'm still
Hmm.
researching every day, more research to try to help.
On Netflix, there was a documentary called Social Dilemma. Have you seen that?
Hmm. Was that kind of based on the Facebook thing
Yeah,
with the
the Facebook, all the
algorithms and
algorithm. Yeah.
where you're looking at your phone? Absolutely, I did see that.
My
Yes.
takeaway from that, very good documentary, but my takeaway from it was, regardless to whatever your content is, if you put
Hmm.
it out there, the algorithms will find an audience for you, believe it or not. And I was just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, that makes so much. I mean, I could see what they were saying far as, hey, this is where we're leading to, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, if you got something that is helping people, and ultimately, I think, we share that same passion for helping individuals. It's the changing, for me, I say changing the mindset or whatnot, because
Hmm.
we're stuck on, as you said, hey, pay the mortgage, refi the mortgage, so on and so forth. But changing the mindset and growing the brain creates something so unique in what is to come, if that makes sense, right? It changes the
Right.
pattern of what we know from then to where we're going, as society is changing as a whole and whatnot.
Right.
So,
Change
yeah,
your mindset, change your life.
that's
That's my saying. Seriously,
that's it.
until I changed my mindset with money,
Yeah,
my life didn't change.
yeah,
My 401k was still making its little, my money wasn't making money for me.
right,
I
right.
was trading time
Wow.
for money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I started saying there's got to be a better way, I don't know what it is. So I started seeking and seeking. So I changed my mindset. I started seeking out. I was like, I found it. I found it. I
Right.
could, let me try it. And I did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I paid off my car. Oh my gosh, I did this. It just was, wow. It was life changing
It all
actually.
come together. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
as you doing this as a service, do you have any
Mm.
other products or anything of that sort that you have that you offer in your setup?
Well, yeah, I mean, other than, of course, you can go to the Facebook page. You can schedule a one-on-one session. I do also I do the lenders list. I do that on there. There's like if you're trying to get approved for a certain bank loan or
Hmm.
type of credit, it kind of it's not every single bank out there,
Right. There's so many of
but
them.
it off right like your chances of approval for credit. Sometimes if we knew like if you could go in and say if you could just call up a bank, Chase, I don't care who anyway, and say, hey, what does my credit exactly need to look like before
Hmm.
I let you pull my credit? They're not going to tell you.
Right.
And that's okay. That's okay. So, I mean, so lots of research as well. It's not just them. I mean, I went through some other, got in with a couple other guys, a couple other people to put into this lenders list. And so, I offer that.
Hmm.
And then actually, it's funny that you mentioned because I haven't posted this on Facebook at all because
Uh-huh.
I only want to post sometimes what I know is actually going to happen and when it's going to happen
Gotcha.
because I try not to anybody any
I get it.
but I'm going to start a mentorship program.
Awesome.
Yeah, so and that's going
You
to be
need
coming
to.
the spring of 2022.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so they'll have exclusive memberships for, we'll have our own Facebook, our own
Yeah.
Discord.
Gotcha.
We're gonna have, yep, and I actually am going to be in talks with my brother, and
Mhm.
a Velocity banking app is going to come out. There's not one. There is, well, listen, if you go to the App Store, there's a
Yeah.
Velocity banking app,
Hmm.
but it does nothing.
Wow.
So I've been trying, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying it does nothing. There's like no
Right.
resources, no nothing for it. I was
Wow.
like, oh my gosh. I said, I wish there was one where you could just go in and plug all your numbers, kind of
Yeah.
like, so, and that's about a year because
Yeah.
I just started it. I just started the process and the development and the money it
Yeah.
takes to
I
create
get
an
it.
app.
I get
I
it.
thought it was just create an app. This is going to be
Yeah.
simple.
No.
No, it's not as simple as I thought.
Mm. Yeah.
So anyway,
I get it.
so yeah, so my mentorship will start spring of 2022, and
Yeah.
hopefully within 12 months we'll have an app. And it might be a beta test at first, and then
Gotcha.
start getting people's feedback.
Yeah.
to say, oh, I wish it did this, or I wish it did this, which is
Right.
great because that's what I need. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
So
I
I'm
definitely
excited
want to
about that.
be on
Yeah.
the beta team. I definitely want to
Yeah.
get
So
access to that.
I'm a little, but I'm so like just, because this was not part of my plan.
Right.
It's so funny. We do stuff and then it leads you in a completely different direction. I was going to retire as a construction manager.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
now I'm like, oh my gosh, I could help so many more people.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So anyway,
Right.
so
Different
so
doors
anyway,
open.
that's
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, the
Yeah.
window's open, the roof
Yeah.
comes off.
I get it.
Oh,
So, what
oh.
is the best way that we can reach out to you or get in contact with you? Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Or is it email
Um,
address?
yeah, either one. Email address is
Mhm.
msvelocitybanking at gmail.com. Facebook is Velocity Banking and Financial Literacy.
Mhm.
It is a private group, so you do have to answer the questions to join
Gotcha.
because even though it's not financial advice, the thing is I don't, people do put their personal information like, hey, I have a car loan for this, and I don't want just the whole world to see that. So it
Right.
is a private group.
Makes sense.
And then, yeah, and YouTube, of course, is the same thing, Velocity
Mhm.
Banking slash, because I'm actually starting to how am I going to incorporate cryptocurrency into velocity banking? And
Gotcha.
so with the staking and
Ooh.
stuff that now
Ooh.
that's coming on, it's
Yes.
so I'm doing so believe me, I'm doing a ton of research to get my first video out there
Gotcha.
in the group, and it will be in the
Mm.
group. And then YouTube is the same thing, velocity banking. I think if you put velocity banking
Mhm.
and financial literacy, you'll pull up my name, or just pull up
Gotcha.
Chrissy Conkle. You can
Gotcha.
do that, and then and then I have a phone number too, but I don't know if it's on my Facebook or not. It might be, but like I
Gotcha.
said, I'm out of Colorado, and it's 917, or sorry, 719
Gotcha.
602 0432.
Got it. And what I'll do is, once I post this, I'll put all of these different links and point of
Oh,
contact,
absolutely.
excuse me, so
Oh,
individuals could definitely come in or whatnot
great.
and reach out to you, get on board or whatnot. I can teach.
That's right. Go watch
I
the
can teach.
videos. Go,
Yeah,
yeah, go into
yeah.
Facebook and hit search and just hit search. If you go into the actually Facebook page itself
Hmm.
and you go to announcements or you go to guides, the steps to velocity banking's in there.
Yep,
Um, I think my link to the YouTube page is in there. And if you actually go to the search engine, I don't know if anybody, when you go to Facebook, you can go to that little hourglass, that little search, and you can hit live.
gotcha.
Just type in LIVE, and
Yeah,
for some reason, all the live videos come up. It's kind of cool.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what's up. That's what's
yeah.
up. I was clicking on it and going through it as we were speaking.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I told y'all like I can talk this stuff. It comes to me not second nature, but I've been there and I've been in the trenches. I've applied these various strategies. It's more of a tool that's in my toolbox to get me to where it is that I'm going. And you guys have the opportunity, to listen in from the horse's mouth, directly, from a subject matter expert in this industry. You are listening to her growth, her story, a year in, as we spoke on putting that content out, growing opportunities now come in. What we've given out to the universe is turned around and multiplying that back to us
Absolutely.
or whatever. These different strategies, again, tools in your toolbox or whatnot. And get this, what you use today could be used by your kids tomorrow and their kids the day
Absolutely.
after, or whatever. So breaking those generational curses, financial hardships, this and the other, like really positioning yourself, as I always say, position yourself to attain the things that you truly want, even more so the things that you so desire. And with that being said, Miss Chrissy, I greatly appreciate you coming on today, and everything that you put out in the group as well as on the platform, the YouTube platform. I wish you great growth um,
Oh,
to
thank you.
come, in the future or whatnot. But do you have anything else that you want to share?
No, absolutely. No, I appreciate the time and thank you for having me. And
Yes,
please keep, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, we all need to come together to change everybody's lives for the
yes,
better.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's what
I
we should
did.
be, that's what I think I'm called for. And
Yeah,
I think yeah,
that's it.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
it.
finally found my calling. It only took 50 years.
Yeah, that's what. Well, you guys, the most exciting thing that I can share with you at the close of this is I did go out and purchase a vehicle over the weekend. With purchasing that vehicle, I also went with PenFed. As y'all know, that is an Equifax FICO 5 pull on the credit report, and they did approve me for a 15K card. So I'll be using that card to Velocity Bank this vehicle, and I'll record it and I have all the data for you guys. I don't bring you any information that I'm not a part of, that I have not done myself. So, with
Oh,
that being
great.
said, you guys stay safe. Miss Chrissy, thank you again. And you guys take care until next week. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.